Our guests in this segment include the mayor of the city of Martinsburg. He's also the executive director of the Eastern Panhandle Home Builders Association. He's got a big weekend coming up unless they cancel this thing because the weather's nice. Kevin Knowles.
I think we should talk more about how wonderful Maria is.
You know what? You go ahead and compliment her now.
I can't speak more highly of her.
Right. That's what I'm talking
Things
about.
that she's involved in the community and all the great work that she does. I mean,
in fact, it'd be good to have Martinsburg declare Maria Lawrence Appreciation Day.
And you know what? She lives in the city.
Yeah.
I did for good luck. I did smell Bill's hair on the
What's it smell like, Kevin? No. Let's talk home show.
Let's do that too. A moment, but not just yet. Right? Because we're bringing Allie Craig here in a moment too. Allie, good morning to you.
Good morning.
Thanks for coming in.
Thanks for having me.
Have you made many radio, TV appearances before?
No, I have not. Thanks for bringing that up. This is my first.
First one?
Yeah.
Well, I want you to know we've never lost a guest on this show, except for that one time when Bill wandered off. Otherwise, we've been pretty good.
Kevin was pushing me out of the door that day.
Kevin, the budget for the city of Martinsburg is pretty much finalized now, correct?
That's correct. We saw a 2.4% increase this year, and it's a relatively flat budget, but the health insurance and COLA and the increased utilities is what brought on the increase. And the general fund was about $26 million, and the overall funding with the enterprise funds, the sewer, water, and all that came out to about $52,600,000. We had $7.1 million in sales tax, and people always ask, where's that money going? And 5.6 million of that was transferred to the general fund, and half of that 5.6 goes to police and fire pensions and retiree health insurance. So we're catching up on our pension that traditionally the state municipalities have been way behind on their pensions. Now we're catching up on it, and we'll be able to make sure that our retirees have not only their pension moving forward, but also their health insurance.
So yours and the county's budget is practically the same, about $1 million difference, I think.
Well, I would think. I mean, we have more services than the county has, and we take care of roads.
You do the roads in the city.
Yeah.
Anything new in the budget this year that hasn't been included in the past, or anything that fell off that you don't fund now?
No, nothing at this point. Last year was we kind of took what we had last year and just kind of looked at that, see if there was anything that we could cut back on, and everything. We run a pretty lean machine down there. Andy Blake and staff down there, they do a great job. They make sure they know where every penny and every dollar is going, and I can't compliment them plus everybody else that works for the city for everything they do to make the city what it is today. And the city has come a long way in the last couple of years, and we're continuing to move forward.
Any further news on federal dollars that were going to be used for trails and such?
Well, I think in the past I said I think what we experience right now is a little bit of shock and awe from the federal government, and I believe we already had some monies that's going to be released for our street lighting and other projects. We had a ladder truck $1 million ladder truck that we were getting funding for. So those have been okayed. We have not heard anything more about the $20.5 million for the trail system or anything like that, but I'm pretty confident that things are going to work out pretty well. I mean, it's kind of tough when somebody takes credit, and all the senators were involved in that, and to be able to backpedal and not be able to come through with that, it's awfully tough, and I don't see that happen. I just think we're going through that shock and awe, and once things start leveling out, you're going to start seeing the money flow.
Have you been in touch with Capito's office and Riley Moore's office in regards to that?
Those are very, very light conversations, because they have to get acclimated to the new system, and Riley is brand new, and Senator Capito holds a senior position, and we're just keeping our fingers crossed for right now. If it goes down a month or two more, then those questions and concerns would definitely be raised to those levels. But right now we're sitting back and just kind of hoping and praying that things are going to go well, and clearly my prayers are working because I'm getting great weather for the home show.
That's right.
Good transition.
But Kevin's making a good point because the Trails project is basically an earmark from Senate to Capitol. And it's going to be more difficult to pull those earmarked dollars back as opposed to just general appropriation. So,
When were you hoping to begin?
Well, we were going to be beginning here in June, but that's not going to happen. We haven't had our initial meetings and how it was going to be laid out, so we don't have any dates at this time until we have those first initial meetings.
Very good. Any other issues on the city you want to convey?
No, things are going very well. I mean, our police department is getting up to full staff, which we were down 15 for about a year, and which it was very tough. And now the Chief Gibbons has done a wonderful job with recruiting, and the city council has given a lot of tools to be able to make that happen. We're looking at we've had different incentives for our police officers, so everything right now looks pretty good.
what is full staffing, Kevin?
Full staffing would be 50 officers.
50.
50 officers. Yeah.
All right.
And we had a really good chamber government affairs meeting just last Wednesday with Robbie at Main Street, and he talked all about the great relationship between Main Street and the city of Martinsburg. Wonderful partnership. When you have an event like the St. Patrick's Day event where you've got, I don't know how many people, but it felt like 18,000 because I do crowd, estimates. But it was pretty remarkable and smooth, and, there was a strong police presence, but not overbearing. I mean, no one got out of hand that I could see, present company included. But it was just a really great event. And anytime you can continue to foster that partnership, bring people downtown, let them see what's happening is just a win-win, I think.
Yeah, and our police officers, and if there was something happening, you wouldn't even notice.
Right.
That's how professional they are, and that's how the idea is to make sure that the community is feeling safe, and you wouldn't even notice if something was happening.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Mr. Knowles, let's talk about the home show.
Oh, let's talk about it.
All right, I speculated earlier you may have to cancel because it won't be 6 degrees this weekend. Is that true?
Not being canceled.
It's not canceled?
Take that off the air.
All right,
I heard that driving up here, and my brakes almost put me through my window.
I thought the law was if it's not 7 degrees, we can't have a home show.
No, we're looking at mid 70s, high 70s sun, and same thing on Sunday. I mean, last night I moved in down
with your trailer,
with
right?
my trailer. I moved in last night. As we speak right now, they're setting up the booths. So this was good timing for me that I don't have to be around setting up the booths. And the booths are being set up.
Smart.
We have sold out for the first time 2 weeks prior. We sold out, even added some more booths because we found some more space. Just 2 more booths, but still.
Where'd you find the space?
Well, we just kind of moved things around a little bit, and we were able to. When you're talking 10 feet here and there, it's hard to find, but some things moved down there differently that we were able to utilize some extra space, and we sold all of our tables, and we're excited about this one because again, we want nice weather. Usually, Robbie gets all the nice weather, and I always get the week after where it's really bad, but I don't know how to handle it, to be quite honest.
Kevin, there's a rumor going around because of the hot temperatures, you're going to be walking around without your shirt on. Is that going to be an attractant or a detractant?
Well, that is quite the rumor, Bill. Quite the rumor. If you see that happening, you better check.
We're going to call the police.
You better check and see what's in my cup.
Goodness gracious. Ollie Craig, good morning to you. Thanks for coming in.
Thanks for having me.
Allie, I'm sorry. I think I said it incorrectly. You are with ERA Liberty?
I am.
Yeah. How's the home sale business now that we are in the spring season?
It's picking up for sure, definitely. Yeah. We saw a little bit of a lull, I think, cold weather. Nobody wants to go out then.
No.
But as the weather's warming up, the home show and for home sales, it's brought in a lot of business. Yeah.
Where are you going to be situated in the Roundhouse?
We don't have a table or anything. We are actually just going to be walking around, meeting all the different vendors and everybody that's coming out.
Very nice.
They're actually the sponsors for the silent auction.
Yes.
Their organization. So they've stepped it up and going to be able to be there for the silent auction, interact with individuals, get around and introduce themselves to all the different vendors.
Very good. I have a neighbor of mine put his house up for sale and actually is getting above asking price, which I didn't know that had come back as a thing, but I guess it's starting to be that kind of market again.
It is. It really is. We're seeing, houses aren't sitting on the market quite as long.
He sold the first day.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
We had a little bit of a lull. Houses were sitting closer to 60 days, and now they're flying off the market again.
Have people kind of settled into the fact that these are the interest rates?
Yes.
Deal with it?
I think so. Because, we're not going to see 2-3% crazy interest rates anymore. They've started to go down a little bit, and I think that's what we're going to get. I mean, that's what I tell people, they're not going to go down to what you think or what you're wanting. So, why wait?
Allie, what's the average price of a home in Berkeley County? Off the top of your head, just ballpark.
Off the top of my head, I probably want to say it probably about $350,000.
It's pretty
high.
substantial,
Yeah,
don't you think?
It's definitely gone up.
Yeah.
For sure.
Now, this is a new home, correct? New home, 350,000.
Not necessarily.
No.
Oh, that's
really.
both new and used.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I mean, it really obviously depends on the size, location, everything, but
Yeah, I have them come up because I look at them, so they come up on my feed all the time. And the 250 to 275 is it just doesn't appear
It's
to
hard
be
to
there.
find.
And I look just in our neighborhood in the West End. I'm like, that house is $375,000 is what they're listing it as. I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah, it's crazy.
That brings up the point. I had this discussion with my wife when we went on a walk the other day, and I grew up in a 1,100, maybe it was 1,100 square foot house, right? And everyone I knew grew up in that kind of a house. I didn't have any friends who had a giant house, except for a couple of people who lived in what was considered the wealthier section of Brentwood, where I grew up, Colonial Park. And those people had homes that were a little bit bigger and nicer. But by comparison, I still don't think they were the size of what an average new home is built to be today. Why don't we build 1,200 square foot homes anymore, which would be much more affordable to buy for so many kids getting out of college and whatever? Why is every house now 4,000 square feet and $600,000? Why? When did we morph to that?
I think it really depends on the area where you're building, competition and the size of the homes. We have a couple of different developments that we've built in as for 4 Points. And we do have some that are a little bit smaller, 1,300 square foot homes. And then we do have another development. Well, we're not currently building in there right now,
Right.
but we do have another street in Heritage Hills on the south end.
Now, are those townhouses that are that size or detached single-family home?
Detached single-family homes and
that's
townhouses. Our townhouses are about 1,400 square foot to start. And then we also have a little bit of a larger development on the north end, the communities of Burwell. And most of those are a little bit bigger, 1,400 plus, square footage in there.
Is the majority of the increases on the price of a house due to the actual construction cost of a house or the land that it's on?
A little bit of both. Yeah.
50-50.
Yeah, it's funny because you were talking about $250,000 homes. My house is 900 square feet. My wife and I downsized, and years ago I bought it. I won't even tell you the price I bought it for, and I just had it reappraised, and came in at $275,000. I'm like, you got to be kidding me! You got to be kidding me! Because it's not like I live in a good neighborhood, but I'm not in.
At least it was till you moved in.
I live in a very good neighborhood, but it's a small house. I mean, that's what we want, but I just could not believe the appraisal came back at that way. I've done a lot of work on it.
Going back to price of the home, we've been talking a lot about tariffs recently, and there's some concern that there's going to be a tariff on Canadian lumber. Are you seeing that affecting the price at all?
I guess that's one thing I don't know. So I don't deal as much with pricing out, the cost of building the home and everything. That's the builder, and so I don't see a lot of that. So
And it's always interesting to me, just watching people's comments on social media and, why can't we put a stop to this? Or, we don't have the infrastructure to support this. And if you're a free market person, let it happen. And it takes care of itself. Now, I will stop myself when I'm sitting at Apple Harvest Drive, trying to get through there.
Yeah.
But the point is it's a free market, and builders are going to come and they're going to build what people are going to buy.
And that's even more important why the home show is important, because you're going to get all the people that are building the homes. They're going to set up their base for the next year as far as any kind of construction, any kind of remodeling. And part of my job is to watch those prices, those tariffs. Part of my job is to lobby for them, not only on the state level, but on the national level. And, we are starting to have questions through our membership and some of our builders and remodelers about the cost of what's going to be coming down the road, possibly. But we don't know what that's going to be at this point. And again, this could be what I said before, a shock and awe, and we're just kind of all sitting back and waiting. But everybody's sitting on pins and needles waiting for it.
A variant to this, the impact fees. The county will be instituting the impact fees sometime this summer. Will the city do impact fees as well, or do you already have impact fees?
I couldn't answer whether we have them already, but I don't hear of any coming in the future. If we have them, I'm not aware of them at this point. But
and from the real estate market, do you welcome impact fees?
Depends
Ask
if
for
they
a
make
tough one.
Depends if it makes the price unaffordable to people.
Well, and also, impact fees can also look at it as long as the money's going in the right direction. If it's going towards infrastructure, if it's going towards quality of life, that's a big difference.
And that's what they're designed to do.
Kevin, talk a little bit about the 1% sales tax and what that brings to the city of Martinsburg, what it allows to happen per se. How much money do you know off the top of your head what that is?
We just went through 7.1 million was what we had.
Okay.
5.6 million of that goes back into our general fund.
Okay.
And half of that pays for our fire and police pension and health insurance. So that money gets spent pretty quickly. And then left over, of course, we put some money aside for future projects. Keep in mind that we didn't have to borrow any money to build our police station. We didn't have to borrow any money to refurbish our city hall. So we plan ahead for projects like that. A lot of different projects that you've seen, the underpass, the restructuring of Martin Street and some other streetscapes that we've done, and we're doing a lot of different work with that. We're able to pave a little bit more than we normally pave, so the money goes back into the infrastructure within the city. We have a very, very good infrastructure. Our water, we hold the gold nugget. We have a lot of water. We are starting now to take a look at when we're digging up streets. When we're digging them up, we're going in and replacing all the sewer lines, replacing all the water lines, because they're getting quite antiquated. Because it's they were put in 50, 60 years ago, and we're putting together like mapping all of our water and our sewer that we haven't had in the past.
And no issues recently with water. I mean, every now and again I get a notice from the city that says, be careful, or this has happened, or
sometimes you can't help something happening. And but the one thing about the city of Martinsburg, when we had a problem with that PFAS a few years back, we have 2 plants, so we made sure that if we shut one down, the other one can service the whole city. So we're real quick to respond to anything that may happen, that we can shut a plant down if that's something happens there, to be able to utilize the other plant.
And back to the home show for the final couple of minutes here. Kevin, what promotionals will be going on during the weekend?
Well, we have our diamond-sponsored Pine Creek. Pine Creek Structures, they give away $1,000 worth of patio furniture, so there'll be drawings for that. High Point Roofing, another one of our sponsors, they've typically given away a free roof, and I believe that's what they're going to do today. We've had Hornby Media, you guys do a great job as far as allowing us to come on the air and speak about it, and you also promote us, even though you promote us that we're not going to have it this year.
Unprecedented heat attack. Yes.
But, this year, we've been holding our fingers crossed because we've never sold it out that quick. And the last 2 weeks, we're looking at each other in the office like we're going through everything. Yes, yes, yes. And it's one of those things we're waiting for the ball to drop. And yeah, then we get the news that we have great weather. Now we don't know what to do. Now we got to worry about what we wear.
Or don't.
Or don't.
But the home show is from 10 to 6 on Saturday, 10 to 4 on Sunday. There will be shuttle service from EPTA of the trolley that'll be picking people up from parking lots within the city.
Meters are off too, correct?
Meters are always off on the weekends in the city of Martinsburg. They'll pick you up at any of the parking lots. They'll bring you down to the train station. You'll be able to walk from the train station right into the Roundhouse, and there is parking at the Roundhouse. If you get there early enough, you'll be able to get parking there.
And you can get into the Roundhouse area so much more easily.
Much easier. Right off, you can get in right off of Queen Street. Get on Roundhouse Way. Getting out is, I don't want to say I don't care how they get out. I just want to bring them in. But I just did say that. But getting them in was the most important
That was
thing.
so difficult before.
Yeah, so now we're making it a lot easier. We have wayfinding signs that we put up for the event. We put them up Friday night and take them down Sunday night so that we don't leave them out in the city, because you're not supposed to have these signs laying out in the city. So
You have food trucks there as well?
we have 4 food trucks that'll be there. So we have Food by Fire, we have Almost Heaven, we have Fed Up, and we have F&N Flatbreads. I always have a tough time saying that.
You got to be careful.
Well, that's why I paused.
And Allie, how can people get in touch with you at ERA Liberty?
They can call or email or find me on Facebook. If you find me on Facebook, it's got all my contact information on there, but feel free to give me a call, 681-389-7221.
Say it slower.
681-389-7221.
Very good. Mr. Mayor, good to see you again.
Good to see you all. And Maria, thank you again for everything you do for this community.
You're welcome, Kevin. You are welcome.
Yeah, good. By the way, Allie, how'd it go? Was your first appearance?
It was good. Good.
Yeah.
Y'all made it easy.
Yeah, see, this isn't complex. If it was, I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
Kev, good to see you, man.
Good to see you guys.
See you this weekend. I think you're the first guest up at 10 o'clock or whatever time we begin. I'll find you.
Somebody will tell you.
Somebody will point me in that
I'll
direction.
find you. I'll always hunt you down like I usually do. Let's see.